I am here to share my thoughts with you all through my discussion on disaster management. I am extremely obliged to be given this opportunity to deliver this topic. Disaster is a calamity of sudden happening. A disaster causing injury and death to a large number of people during a span of time. Disaster have caused by reasons such as earthquakes, heavy rainfall, hurricane, chemical accident, drought, or even armed conflict. There is a huge change in climatic conditions on Earth. Summer days are increasing and winters are decreasing. All these changes are leading to excessive natural disasters. Disaster management is the primary and the secondary plan of peoples to decrease the risk of disaster and to deal with disasters. Disaster management handles the natural calamity and disaster efficiently. In some cases, disaster management may not avoid the situation, but it can surely minimize the impacts. The indirect effects of disasters are always destruction, damage, and death. It also causes the loss of life of both animals and human beings. Disaster management is very important in recent times. It is tackling the hazards that occur before, during, and after the disaster. Disaster management is a similar act as consuming medicine for curing a disease. Disaster can also be in any form of epidemic diseases or industrial failure, such as Bhopal gas tragedy or the disasters of Fukushima nuclear power plant, etc. In the event of a disaster, proper preparations are essential for managing the situation. Proper mechanisms help to minimize the effect. Predicting the probability of some types of disaster can help in decreasing the vulnerability of the people. Disaster management team help in rehabilitation and in minimizing the loss of lives and properties. This is because they have trained professionals. They provide physical and materialistic assistance, but also help in the emotional rehabilitation of people. Disaster management aims to reduce or avoid the potential losses from hazards, assure prompt and appropriate assistance to victims of disaster, and achieve rapid and effective recovery. The disaster management cycle illustrates the ongoing process by which governments, businesses, and civil society plan for and reduce the impact of disasters, react during and immediately following a disaster, and take steps to recover after a disaster has occurred. Appropriate action at all points in the cycle lead to greater preparedness, better warnings, reduced vulnerability, or the prevention of disasters during the next iteration of the cycle. The complete disaster management cycle includes the shaping of public policies and plans that either modify the causes of disasters or mitigate their effects on people, property, and infrastructure. Disaster risk reduction is the action taken with the objective of minimizing the risk that could be induced due to disaster. Disaster risk reduction is often taken as the synonymous for disaster risk management. The concept and the practice of reducing disaster risk through systematic efforts to analyze and manage the causal factors of disasters, including through reduced exposure to hazards, lessened vulnerability of people and poverty, wise management of land and the environment, and improved preparedness for adverse events. United Nations International Strategy for Disasters Reduction, 2009. There are mainly 4 components of DRI. We have the mitigation, preparation, response, and recovery. Number 1, mitigation. Mitigation refers to the action that are to be taken before the occurrence of an event. Mitigation phase is for reducing the overall risks and impacts. It includes the step like vulnerability assessment, risk assessment, hazard assessment. Mitigation involves promoting multi-sector approach in disaster risk management and integration of DRI in all the development activities. Also include maintenance of public infrastructure. Number 2, preparedness. Preparedness is also done before the occurrence of an event or disaster. All kinds of plans like vulnerability management plans, emergency preparedness plans, and evacuation plans, etc. are prepared. It includes actions like preparation of disaster relief plan, conduction of awareness and education program for general public, sharing of the risk portfolio with the related partners and the institution, and last, development of early warning system. Number 3, response. Response refers to the activities that are done after the event or disaster has occurred. Saving human life is major concern at this stage. Response actions include evacuation emergency services such as food, shelter, medical attention, etc. Provision for medical health coordination, action between the local and international actions. National and international support, proper mobilization of aids and grants provided. Number 4, recovery. Recovery is a post-disaster action. It includes activities like create emergency relief fund, rehabilitate the victims, reconstruction of the damages, properties, or make arrangement through loans, psychological counseling. On this note, I would like to conclude that disaster management is a collective and coordinated effort. Everyone must take an active part in disaster management to reduce the risk of human life. The proper disaster management team can take charge as soon as possible when the disaster strikes. I am fully confident that everyone sitting here will remember this and will also help for spreading awareness among other citizens. It is necessary to solve this biggest problem related to nature and to human life.